during the past year of 2024 has reached a historic peak of $355 million.
Government acknowledges Saudi Arabia's support. Both vow deeper cooperation.
Those projects which have been supported, which have been constructed under the Saudi Fund, have really turned the lives of our people.
Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Nasa Kingo. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. We start here in Dar es Salaam, where the ambassador of Russia to Tanzania, Andrei Avetisian, says the year 2024 has been one of the most successful years in Tanzania-Russia relations, witnessing massive growth of trade volume to reach $355 million. He made the remarks earlier today in Dar es Salaam when he met with journalists to outline success stories of Tanzania-Russia bilateral ties for the year 2024. Antonio Kivaria was there and has prepared the following report.
Speaking on Tanzania-Russia bilateral ties, the ambassador of Russia to Tanzania touched various sectors that have indicated successful growth over the years, including trade, economy, political ties, and how Kiswahili language continues to grow in Russia.
Full year for Russia-Tanzania relations in trade, economy, political relations, also in our traditional spheres of cooperation like education, science. And I would like to start by mentioning the amount of our bilateral trade that during the past year of 2024 has reached a historic peak of $355 million. This is more than twice bigger than, let's say, 3 years ago.
In boosting tourism between the two countries, the ambassador says there have been an increased interest in Russia to resume direct flights to Tanzania so as more and more Russians and Tanzanians can maximize what two countries can offer.
Russian companies sent their representatives who participated in it, and a lot of bilateral contacts between Russian and Tanzanian business were made and ties established. And since October, we've been working already on a number of visits, both from Tanzania to Russia and from Russia to Tanzania, of the representatives of different companies to continue business contacts to reach some contracts and develop the projects.
Furthermore, in the education and cultural sector, the Russian ambassador says his government will increase the number of scholarships it offers to Tanzania to reach 150 from currently 90. Welcoming more Tanzanians to study in Russia, and also outlines how Kiswahili language continues to grow in Russia.
We have 262 members of Tanzanian People's Defense Forces who study in Russia.
Tanzania and Russia have been very good and effective friends for the past 63 years. And today, comments by Russian ambassador to Tanzania prove how keen is Russia to deepen its ties with Tanzania in many fields. Antonia Kivaria, TBC News.
Moving now to the finance sector, the Minister of Finance, Mwigulu Nchemba, says the Saudi Fund for Development, SFD, has played a key role in the implementation of various projects in Tanzania, including water, health, energy, and infrastructure, outlining how the Standard Modern Railway SGR project will contribute to the trade and economic growth in Tanzania and in other Great Lakes region countries. Here are more details.
Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba made the remarks when he met and held talks with the Chief Executive Officer of Saudi Fund for Development, SFD, Sultan Al Mashard, on the sidelines of the Business and Investment Forum meeting held in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Those projects which have been supported, which have been constructed under the Saudi Fund, have really turned the lives of our people. They are quite crucial projects in those areas where the funds have been located. And I can attest the areas where these projects have been constructed had a lot of cries from the people. Projects like those of infrastructure, those of water supply, they are seriously touching the daily lives of our people. So once again, on behalf of the government of Tanzania, I would like to express our appreciation for all that money which you have been taken to these projects.
On the other hand, the CFD CEO says the fund is committed to continue to support Tanzania, praising Tanzania's key national development projects such as the Standard Gauge Railway, SGR, that upon its completion will stimulate and promote further trades and transport sectors.
Railway, Your Excellency, is a very important on connectivity and people moving from side to side, tourism, a lot of sectors. So it's a multi-purpose project, and I am sure that maybe with our friends or our colleagues or partners in the Arab Coordination Group, we can come with a good proposal to participate in this project. Saudi Fund has contributed in financing free zone, industrial zone. So we have different projects related to trade and manufacturing.
During the meeting, Tanzania and Saudi Fund have agreed to formulate a team of experts that will review, analyze, and process various projects that the fund will finance to further strengthen the cooperation between Tanzania and Saudi Arabia.
Head of Samia Suluhu Hassan IVF Center Unit at Muhimbili National Hospital, Dr. Matilda Ngarina, says the vital fertilization services are gradual, outlining that since its inception, the groundbreaking development has offered much-needed relief to couples facing infertility challenges who were previously unable to access IVF treatment in public hospitals in Tanzania.
Understand that treatment of infertility is not a one-day thing, and it includes a lot of preparations, do's and don'ts, and there's on the patient side and on the provider side. Like on the patient side, when they come to you, they just say that they are having infertility, inability to have a child in a certain period of time. For them, some even 2 months is too much, some 20 years and 5 years, different age ranges. So when they come to you, you just don't go straight to IVF. You have to know what is the problem, and it might take a long time to know exactly what is the problem. And in many times you might not know what is the problem, because infertility has many causes, some of which I think only God knows. Cost, we came down to a price, the cost of infertility. People are not the same. Some will be needed by everybody. Everybody will go through stimulation, although some will need a smaller dose. Everybody will go through ovum pickup, because what is IVF? We stimulate you. We make you produce a lot of eggs, the lady now. We produce a lot of eggs, and then we go to the lab, we give you anesthesia, you sleep, and then we retrieve the eggs through the vagina. If it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, we have to retrieve them through the abdomen. But at the end of the day, we have oocytes with us on a petri dish. We go to the lab. We take the sperm. We might do it natural fertilization. Of course, there's preparation of the oocyte. You just don't take it and there's a 4 hours preparation to make it ready for fertilization. Now you take the sperm, you prepare it, and then you fertilize, either naturally or by physically introducing the sperm into the ovum, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. You inject the sperm into the oocyte. So we went down and made cost for every step, and the cost that is the same for everybody came to 14 million Tanzanian shillings.
In 2009, the World Health Organization, WHO, declared infertility a disease of the reproductive system. And in September this year, Samia Suluhu Hassan IVF Center was launched, achieving a significant milestone in Tanzania's healthcare sector and becoming the first public hospital to offer the treatment here in Tanzania. The United Nations Resident Coordinator in Tanzania, Susan Ngongi Namondo, praises the East African countries for their groundbreaking efforts to foster regional unity and economic integration. Speaking to TBC News, the resident coordinator highlights the importance of progress being made towards establishing a common market and strengthening collaboration among member states, leading to free movement of goods, services, and people.
Recently, the East African community has been making an effort to unite amongst the East African countries and have a common market, have a common East African currency, and more. Do you think this will help the East African countries have a say in the international sphere, or it will act as a threat to the international world, to the East African countries?
Well, I think if the East African community moves on this common market, it will be a game changer for East Africans. I think definitely it would improve the economic and social well-being of East Africans. And I think it's really a laudable project, and I hope that all the countries, because it's not an easy thing to do, obviously. And I hope that all the countries find the political resolve to overcome the barriers. Absolutely critical. Each of the units that we have on the continent are too small to be negotiating with some of the bigger players that are out in the world. And we need them to come together to help them in terms of improving the economic opportunities that they have. So for instance, if the EAC is actually working, that common market is actually working, Tanzania would have a much larger market for its goods. We'll be able to attract much better investments in terms of volume, in terms of quality, etc. You could have a unit that actually favorably negotiates, or more favorably negotiates in terms of trade deals, etc. So I think it's a game changer, and I know that there's been a lot of work already, but there's still many hurdles to be crossed to actually make it a reality. A customs union, for instance, if the customs could all get together and agree, would be really good. But I know that work is happening, but I look forward to that becoming a reality.
Definitely. And lastly, how is the United Nations working with the government of Tanzania and its people to attain the SDGs? Because we have a very short time to 2030. Yeah.
Indeed, we do. And I think everything that we do in terms of our cooperation framework is about the SDGs. And I think in Tanzania, we're very fortunate that the government is very development-minded. The government is very clear about pursuing its development agenda. So all the work we do at the policy level, at the program level, and also at the norms level, but that's an area where I think I hope we talk more about in future. I would like to see more working, because a lot of development is not just policy, it's not just the programs in place, but it's also the behaviors that we adopt. That's one area I hope we do more in. But yes, everything that we do really moves along the lines of supporting attainment of the SDGs.
That was the United Nations Resident Coordinator in Tanzania, Susan Ngongi Namondo, talking with my colleague Caroline Malewo, as East Africa Community this year marks 25 years since its revival in 1999. And of course, you spoke a little bit about SDGs. Tanzania has approved 12.6 billion shillings as a compensation for residents who will leave their properties to allow the Kilwa Road expansion project from Bagala in Dar es Salaam to Mwandege in Mkuranga district. The project will improve transport services between the areas as Tanzania's cities continue to be amongst the African cities experiencing rapid urban expansion. Here is a report by Joseph Chiwale, read by Faithangaga.
The Minister for Works, Abdallah Ulega, made the assurance while closing the 4th Coastal Region Trade Fair, which was held in Maili Moja grounds in Kibaha. He says apart from the Kilwa Road expansion, the government also plans the expansion of the Morogoro Road to 8 lanes from Maili Moja to Picha-Ndege, whereby 1 billion shillings have already been allocated for the project.
This is part of the implementation which we focus on to widen up roads from Rangi Tatu to Kongowe. We are very grateful to President Samia for providing construction fund of 12.6 billion, which will help to accomplish the construction project of these roads.
The Regional Commissioner of the Coastal Region, Abubakar Kunenge, thanks the government of Tanzania for approving the funds for the road expansion and repair.
Completion of this road will help to reduce the traffic jam. It will solve the delay in transporting goods.
On the other hand, some of the participants of the trade fair say the industrial products produced have improved in terms of quality, insisting that more can be done to make them more competitive globally.
There are services where you can ship various products. We provide consulting services on the products you want to ship.
The Commissioner General of Tanzania Revenue Authority, TRA, Yusuf Mwenda, assures traders at the Kariakoo International Market that the market will continue to keep its international standards, vowing to deal with all tax challenges that traders face so as to create fair competition in the market. Here are more details.
He made the assurance after visiting the TRA Kariakoo office, outlining tax collection success of over 55 billion shillings, equivalent to 108% of the intended goal of collecting about 51 billion for the period of July to November 2024.
In the past, there were some challenges due to not having discussion with TRA, whereby some businessmen regarded TRA as the enemy, and some businessmen were viewed as the tax invaders. And even the remaining challenges will be completely solved.
On the other hand, some of the local businessmen and women say tax collection efficiency have improved, vindicating balance between revenue collection and addressing taxpayers' complaints.
Of State Prime Minister's Office, Labor, Youth Employment and Persons with a Disability, Ridhiwani Kikwete, says the government of Tanzania has allocated 16 billion Tanzanian shillings to support young entrepreneurs across Tanzania. He made the remarks during a closing ceremony of Startup Week today in Dar es Salaam, designed to advance Tanzania's innovation ecosystem.
We've dedicated like about 16 billion Tanzanian shillings for those who are needy to come and do the application so that we can assist them in it. For us as a government, at the moment we have a policy in place, but it depends after the discussion with those who are concerned, in particular the youth, so that we understand on how to move forward with them. Because we as a government, we cannot dictate what needs to be done. Yeah, and that is what I would say that the main concern or the main contribution should come from the youth themselves. It's not for the government to decide.
The Startup Week aims to mobilize Tanzania's startup ecosystem and stakeholders to advocate and lobby for improvement of policy and legal environments that support the growth, competitiveness, and sustainability of startups and social enterprises in Tanzania. As Tanzania and China marks 60 years of diplomatic relations, and as Chinese-style modernization continues to inspire many nations across the world, the Chinese ambassador to Tanzania, Cheng Mingjian, says both Tanzania and China have various areas to learn from each other, outlining how state of economic relations between the two nations continues to flourish, as she speaks with my colleague, Rioba Steven.
When we talk about modernization as the developing country, it is the goal we all want to achieve. And China is the largest developing country in the world, and Africa is the continent with the largest number of developing countries. So we can learn from each other and to advance our way to modernization. And you know, the just successfully concluded Beijing summit of FOCAC, it was held in China last September with the theme that is join hands to advance modernization by China and African countries. And after the past more than 75 years of development, especially in the recent 50 years with the reform and the opening up policy, China made a huge achievements in the way to achieve the modernization.
How would you describe the currently state of the economic relation between Tanzania and China?
The economic relations between China and Tanzania is very close, and it belongs to the practical cooperation of the two countries. I should share the basic information with my audience, and you can see how close we are. China is the biggest trading partner of Tanzania with the volume of $8.78 billion US trade volume for last year. And China is the biggest source country of investment to Tanzania. And China is the biggest project contractors to Tanzania, which you can see a lot of the projects under the construction of Chinese companies, such as the Magufuli Bridge and the expansion and upgrade of Dar es Salaam Port and the Nyerere hydropower station, etc. So that demonstrates the closeness of our relationship.
In case you missed any one of our stories, remember you can always go to our YouTube channel at TBC Online and watch anytime, anywhere. Before we conclude the local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. It's TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled and read by Lulua Muhammad.
UN officials has urgently called on donors to bridge a $6 billion humanitarian funding gap caused by the ongoing conflict in Sudan. They made a call at a UN Council meeting in New York. The US has announced nearly $200 million in additional aid for the country. The conflict between Sudanese army and rapid support forces has been going on over 20 months. The UN report says nearly 20 million people inside and outside Sudan need humanitarian support. U.S. diplomats are in the Syrian capital Damascus, where they plan to meet representatives from Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, the group now in charge with the country's administration. The visit follows those of delegations in recent days from the UN and other countries, including the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. This is the first formal American diplomatic appearance in Damascus in more than a decade. The talks aimed at discussing the transition principles with HTS. The new administration has promised to revive Syria's economy and rebuild the infrastructure destroyed due to fighting in the country. And Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Russia is ready for compromise talks on Ukraine. Putin made a statement during his annual address on state television. This comes a few days after Ukraine executed the head of Russian nuclear defense forces outside his apartment building in Moscow. Putin said that Russia had no conditions to start talks with Ukraine and was ready to negotiate with anyone, including President Volodymyr Zelensky.
That's international news. Sports news up next. In sports news, the Simba Sports Club head coach Fedlu Davids says that the match against Kagera Sugar in Tanzania Premier League will be very tough, but they are well prepared to take all 3 points and consolidate their position in the league. Coach Davids adds that Kagera Sugar Stadium is a tough ground to play, as Simba has struggled several times to win any match, but they have established new strategies to ensure victory.
Very tough place to come, and they coach by a very good coach. You can see they've got a clear identity about the way they play football. They build up from the back. They push their fullbacks high. They're quite an interesting team when you analyze them. So definitely won't be an easy game. We really respect them a lot. We respect history a lot, but once the whistle starts, all of that falls out the window. It's 11 against 11, and we'll do our best to get the 3 points. And in saying that,
victory for Simba will take them back to the top of the Tanzania Premier League table with 34 points after 13 matches, while Kagera Sugar sits at 14th place in the league table with 11 points after playing 14 matches, and victory will lift them out of the relegation zone. Kabaddi Association of Tanzania chairperson Abdallah Nyoni believes that the national team has a chance to perform well in the World Cup following massive experiences that the team have gained in previous tournaments. Kabaddi national team will participate for the 4th time in the Kabaddi World Cup 2025, which is expected to be held in UK starting from March 16th, 2025. And that's the sports news. Now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello there. This is 24 hours of the forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Starting from tonight, 9 p.m., the state of the lake and the state of the sea is expected to be slight, and expect chance of rainfall over some few areas of western part of the country, like Victoria Basin and northeastern Highland. And now let us see of the weather details, and this is what we expect for tonight. For Rukwa region, western part of the country, and Lake Victoria Basin, we expect particle condition, thunder showers over a few areas. For northeastern Highland, we expect particle condition, rain showers over a few areas. Central part of the country and northern coast, we expect particle condition, light rain showers over a few areas. And the remaining part of the country is expected to be dry. And now let us see what we expect for tomorrow. For Rukwa region, western parts of the country, like Victoria Basin and northeastern highlands. We expect partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. For central parts of the country, Morogoro region, southern coast, Dar es Salaam, and Pwani, including Mafia Islands, we expect partly cloud condition, light rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. And the remaining parts of the country, we expect partly cloud condition and longer sun periods. And now let us take a look of the next 4 days weather forecast. Dar es Salaam, we expect sun periods and light rain. Dodoma, we expect partly cloud condition and sun periods. From Mbeya region, we expect partly cloud condition and sun periods. From Mwanza, we expect partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. Kilimanjaro, we expect rain showers and thunder showers. Morogoro, we expect partly cloud condition and sun periods. Arusha, we expect rain showers and thunder showers. And that's all for today. Make sure to catch up again tomorrow. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Maria Faris. Bye-bye.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in the Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Nasa King. We wish you a good night and a constructive weekend.